All right, we are starting on page 4 of your digital notebook. In your textbook will be on page 100. If you are in the e-text, you will click next one time and then scroll down until you see floods and the Black Land. You will see there are 3 questions here on page 4, and here are your 3 spots for answers. Number 4, Egypt's Black Land was caused by what? You'll find that answer in these 2 circled yellow paragraphs. Number 5, what happened because the floods were unpredictable when there's too much water or too little water? You'll find that answer in this blue highlighted paragraph. And lastly, number 6, what was the land on the side of the Black Land called? You'll find that answer in this pink highlighted paragraph. Let's go ahead and listen.
Floods and the Black Land. A narrow strip of fertile soil lines both banks of the Nile and covers its delta. This rich, dark soil was so important to the Egyptians that they called their country Kemet, which means the Black Land. The yearly flooding of the Nile created the Black Land. Each summer, heavy rainfall in East Africa poured into the Nile's sources. Floodwaters surged through Egypt. When the floodwaters drained away, they left behind a layer of fresh soil. However, the Nile floods were unpredictable. If too much water came, the floods could be a natural disaster that swept away soil. If too little water came, Egypt could suffer a drought or a shortage of water. Droughts could bring hunger by causing crops to fail. On either side of the Black Land lay vast deserts. Egyptians called these deserts the Red Land. Unlike the Black Land, the Red Land was a deadly place of hot, burning sands.
Number 4, Egypt's Black Land was caused by what? Again, you'll find that answer in these 2 circled yellow paragraphs. Number 5, what happened because the floods were unpredictable? So if there was too much water, what happened? If there was too little water, what happened? I might make this 2 separate questions in your formative. You'll find the answers in this blue highlighted paragraph. Number 6, what was the land on the side of the Black Land called? You'll find that answer in this pink highlighted paragraph. All right, let's move on to page 5. We need to click next to go to the next page in the e-text. Again, if you get there and you have it's blocked, go ahead and click that blue arrow. It will then open up what you need to see. So the first question, first of all, we're under how did Egyptian civilization develop? The first question, crop irrigation allowed farmers to do what? You'll find that answer in this pink highlighted paragraph. And the second question, because of the crop surplus, remember, crop surplus means what? It means you have extra crops, you have extra food. The powerful people collected more taxes, and this then allowed the ruler to buy what else? So you will find what else he bought in these 2 green highlighted paragraphs. Let's go ahead and listen.
How did Egyptian civilization develop? More than 7,000 years ago, people began growing grains in the fertile soil left behind by the Nile floods. Over time, Egypt's farmers were able to grow more and more food. This food supported a growing population. Agricultural techniques create a surplus. Egyptian farmers learned to build earthen walls around fields to trap the Nile's flood waters. The water soaked into the soil and allowed grains such as wheat to grow. This simple form of crop irrigation allowed farmers to grow more crops and produce a food surplus, or an amount of food greater than their own family's needs. Irrigation of the Nile allowed the land to be farmed even though the region received less and less rain over time. You will read how farmers used similar techniques along the Indus River in India and the Huanghe in northern China. Meanwhile, powerful people and families gained control over regions within Egypt. They were able to collect some of the farmers' surplus crop as taxes. How did cities develop? These local rulers used this surplus to buy rich cloth, jewelry, and luxury goods. These were supplied by merchants and artisans, or skilled workers who practice a handicraft. Farmers' production of a surplus supported these artisans. Some became full-time artisans, such as weavers or potters. Artisans and merchants began to settle around the homes of local rulers. In time, these settlements grew into cities. Egypt's cities brought together wealthy and skilled people. They became centers of culture and power. Skilled architects built impressive buildings. Artists created great works of art to decorate them. Egyptian cities grew to be large and powerful, like those in Sumer.
All right, sorry about that. Wow, I lost track of the page, but I didn't want to stop the reading. So, number 1, crop irrigation allowed farmers to do what? You will find that in this pink highlighted paragraph. And number 2, because of the crop surplus, because they had all those extra crops, the powerful people collected more taxes, and this then allowed the ruler to buy what else? I had too much highlighted before, I'm not sure why. So now it's just in this green highlight. You'll find the answer to number 2. All right, moving to page 6. All we did is scroll down, so this is where we were. I scrolled down. It's the same 2 pictures, so you don't even really have to look in here if you don't want. But analyze these pictures. That's what an illustration is, the image. The illustrations show croplands during and after the Nile's yearly floods. So this is before flooding. You can see nicely, you can see there's little huts here. You can see the farmland. And then here is where it's flooded. Obviously, the water is up on the land, right? So how did the yearly floods help Egypt's farmers? I talked to you about that in video 1, if you need to go back and watch that. As soon as the video was done, I explained more about how that silt helps. But give me an explanation here. How did the yearly floods help Egypt's farmers for number 4? And number 5, how did growing a surplus, so how did growing extra crops affect ancient Egypt? So go ahead and get that answer now.